Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Shell's Flow Motion. I'm Michelle and this is my evening splits class. Today we're going to be stretching through a sunset flow, moving through your hips, hamstrings, and inner thighs. Perfect for winding down or working towards your splits. Don't forget to like, comment, or subscribe for more flexibility, mobility, and pole-inspired yoga flows. So let's go ahead and start today's class in child's pose. Moving our hips back towards our heels, bringing your toes together, allowing your forehead to come to the mat, letting your breath settle here for 3 rounds of breath. Inhaling and exhaling out the mouth. Inhaling and exhaling. One more inhale and exhale. On your next inhale, feel free to work your way up to tabletop, preparing to start cat-cow. We'll be placing our hands over the shoulders, knees over the hips, rounding the spine, tucking the chin, coming into cat, and exhale, lifting the chin towards the sky, dropping the belly low, arching the back, coming into cow. Moving between this a few times at your own pace, inhaling and exhaling as you move. Option to stay like this, or feel free to come into drunk cat-cow, moving in a circle to add in movement through the side ribs. If you do choose to go into drunk cat-cow, make sure that you're going both clockwise and counterclockwise to make both sides even. Doing whatever feels comfortable for you, noticing how it feels. Next, we'll come to kneeling, stepping the right foot forward into a low lunge. You can keep your hands on the floor at the hips or bring them to the sky. Let's take 3 gentle pulses here, leaning forward, holding for a moment, and then releasing slightly out of it before leaning back forward again. On the 3rd pulse, option for a gentle back bend, opening the heart, and then shifting the back, sending the hips back, coming into a half split, flexing your right foot, folding over your front leg. Maybe you move your foot left and right, wiggling the ankles, opening through the calf and the hamstring. When you feel comfortable, come forward again into a low lunge, taking 3 more pulses, holding for a moment before coming back and pulsing back forward, inhaling, exhaling back, inhaling forward. Optional back bend if you'd like, or you can send the hips back, coming into your half split. Again, wiggling the ankle around in a circle, maybe clockwise or counterclockwise, just allowing your lower leg to loosen. From here, you'll be shifting your weight back forward into a lunge and then walking the front foot over into the side of the mat, coming into lizard pose. Option to stay on your hands or come to your elbows. If you are on your elbows, you can, and you're wanting to take it deeper, feel free to lift your inside arm to the sky, then lowering it back down. We'll move through this 3 times. Moving slowly. One more time. Coming back to your hands when you feel comfortable. Dropping the knee to the floor, and we'll be coming into a twisted lunge. Lifting your right arm up as you twist the lunge. Holding here. Maybe pull slightly with your hips. Not moving too far, but just gently into the movement. From here, when you feel comfortable, we'll start preparing for our splits. It's okay if you don't have your full splits here. We're just going to move as far as comfortable for you. So stop wherever your body tells you to. Feel free to grab a block, put it at its highest setting, and put it just under your tailbone on your upper hamstring. We'll stay here for a few breaths. Keeping a little bit of a bend in the knee. Option to stay here, or you can turn the block sideways, dropping it a little lower, still allowing a little bit of bend in the knee. This is closer to a micro bend now, and allowing the toes to come off the mat, mainly balancing on the heels, keeping the back leg straight, opening through the hip flexor, and keeping your hips squared. Let me twist a little for you so you can see a slightly better angle. Keeping your hips forward. Breathing through the posture. You can stay here if it's comfortable, or you can get ready to intensify it. Maybe you bring your hands towards your ankles, dropping your head towards your knee, really opening through the front hamstring. You can keep the block at this height, or if you want to go a little deeper, we can lower it one more level, making it slightly flatter for you. Moving slowly as you lower the blocks. From here, you're going to have that tiny little micro bend in the front knee, but you can have it for the most part straight. You're just not wanting to allow your knee to lock or hyperextend while it's in the air. So just being mindful of that. Again, option to bring your hands towards your ankles, folding forward. You don't have to do this. If you'd like to stay upright, that's totally okay too. I'm going to reposition because the sunset's really pretty. So from here, if you want to keep the block, you can, or you can get rid of the block and see how close to the floor we can get. I was feeling pretty tight today, so I'm just barely off the floor. It's okay if you have fluctuation day to day with your splits. Some days you might have it really easy. Some days it might be a little bit more of a challenge depending on how tight your hamstrings are, how tight your hip flexors are. So don't force anything just because you've done your splits before. That's how you pop a hamstring. Move with grace. Allow yourself to move with what feels best for you. Don't force anything that's uncomfortable. Just allow a little bit of pressure of what feels nice as you activate that stretch. Sweeping the back leg forward, sitting tall. We're going to prepare for a forward fold, but our goal here is going to be a flat back. So we're going to bend through the knees, grabbing the feet, and slowly inch our feet forward, getting our knees closer to the mat, only moving as far as you're able where you can keep a flat spine. When you're ready, we're going to exhale, rounding through the spine, reaching the head towards the knees or the chin towards the chest, and inhaling back to straight. Again, exhaling, rounding over, inhaling back to straight. One more time, exhale, rounding over, inhaling back to straight. Feel free to take as long as you'd like here, but when you're ready, feel free to meet me in kneeling. We're going to repeat the same flow on the opposite side. This time, we'll be stepping the left leg forward. With that, I'm still recovering from my injury, and with laying down more often, I've definitely lost some mobility on this side. So if this side feels different for you, you're not alone. It's okay if you don't get into your full split from one side to the other. Each side is different and they're not linear, so just do your best and don't force anything. With that, we'll start in our low lunge. When you're ready, we'll start pulsing into the posture. Optional, leave the hands on the ground at the hips or sweep them back behind you, whatever feels most comfortable. And when you're ready, exhaling, shifting the hips back, and inhaling, shifting forward. Again, exhale, shifting the hips back, holding for a moment, and shifting the hips back forward. One more time with a back bend. Exhale, shifting the hips back, this time lifting the toes off the ground, coming into half split. Maybe wiggling the feet left and right. Opening through the sides of the calves, up the hamstring. Striving to keep your back flat and straight. Maybe pointing and flexing the toes. Inhaling and exhaling through the posture. When you're ready, shifting back forward into your low lunge. And we'll pulse again, holding for a moment before we send the hips back. Again, shifting forward. Maybe this time you shift slightly deeper into the posture. Maybe you add a little back bend. Shifting the hips back one more time. Last time, shifting the hips forward, really trying to deepen into the posture. Holding for a moment. Placing the hands down, shifting the hips back, coming into half split. Lifting the toes. Wiggling the toes left, right, up and down. Whatever feels most comfortable. Trying to soften through your leg, lengthen through your spine, and let this stretch meet you where you are. If you have tightness in your upper hamstring like me, shifting your hips slightly can kind of loosen up through your tailbone within this stretch, but don't push too far into anything if it doesn't feel comfortable. When you're ready, we're going to shift forward into lizard lunge, placing the hands down, shifting the left leg over to the side of the mat. Option to stay lifted, or you can drop down onto your elbows whenever you're ready. You can leave your hands planted, or if you want to deepen further, you have the option to extend your inside arm up to the sky. We'll move through it 3 times at your own pace, inhaling and exhaling as you go. Noticing how this feels for your spine, for your hips, for your shoulders. Maybe you feel this in your hip flexor or in your toes. Feel free to come out of it at your own pace, lifting up onto the hands, shifting the hips back, and we're going to prepare for our side twisted lunge, allowing yourself to be up on the side, the outside of your foot, leaving your right hand down and lifting your left arm to the sky. Option to wiggle through your hips here. This is pretty tight for me on the outside of my hamstring, so just move at your own pace for whatever feels best for you. Make sure you're breathing here. Feel free to take another breath or two, moving through this posture. And then when you're ready, feel free to grab your block, and we're going to come to the highest setting, preparing for our split on this side. I definitely won't be getting into a full split on this side, so if this is your better side, I'll still cue you to your split. I just won't move all the way into it. But starting with the block at the highest possible setting on the upper thigh part of your hamstring, allowing a bend in the knee, letting your feet be flat on the ground, just breathing into the posture, getting comfortable here, trying to keep your hips squared. When you're ready, feel free to drop that block a little bit lower if you're comfortable. If not, you can stay up on that higher setting, maybe lifting off the block and coming back onto it. On this lower setting, making sure to keep a bend in the knee, but now we have the toes off the mat, mainly with the weight on the heel. Again, trying to keep the hips squared, maybe inching your heel a little bit farther forward, allowing it to be slightly straighter, but still allowing a good amount of bend. getting some active movement into your full length of hamstring, through your Achilles, up your ankles, the sides of your calves, over your glutes, allowing the hamstring to fully stretch, stretching through the hip flexors for that back leg, making sure your knees drop down nicely. It shouldn't be causing any pain behind you. Option to stay here, or you can lower one more time. I'll be staying at this level, but if you want to lower it now, you definitely can. The dogs are getting excited, sorry. Maybe you stand or you sit up straight. Maybe you have your hands out in front of you, hinging slightly. If you'd like, feel free to take the block away now, working your way closer to the mat. Since I'm not taking away the block, I moved it up farther on my hamstring just to allow 2 different points of contact, allowing a little bit more straightening of the knee, but not locking it or hyperextending. If you want to move into your full split, now's the time. Moving gently at your own pace. And when you're ready, feel free to meet seated, preparing for another seated forward fold. Again, bringing the feet in, knees to chest, straightening the back, and slowly flattening the legs. On your exhale, you can round the spine, tucking the chin to chest, reaching your head towards your knees or shins. On your inhale, lifting the spine long, trying to keep the hips forward, allowing the pelvis to tilt. Moving in and out of this a few times at your own pace. Maybe you go back and forth between pointing and flexing the toes. Whatever feels best for you. This is your practice. When you're ready, feel free to meet in butterfly pose, bringing the feet together, knees apart. And we're going to work on lifting long through the spine, like a string is pulling you from your head, and allowing the knees to get pulled towards the earth. Option to roll out the neck for a moment, noticing how you're feeling. We'll end today's class with a little forward fold here. Coming back up. I hope you enjoyed today's class. I hope it helps with your splits, getting you one step closer to your goal. If you enjoyed this class, don't forget to like and subscribe and come back for more. See you next time.